The new Mario game had some interesting characters called the Broodals, and they remind me a lot of the Koopalings. However, are they better? Which of the two groups has the best boss fights, story, and overall design? Well, let's find out. On one side we have the Koopalings, and they have been part of the Mario franchise since Super Mario Bros. 3. They're a 7-member clan portrayed as siblings who act as the leaders of the Koopa Troop under Bowser. The Koopalings debuted in 1988 and later appeared as bosses in various SNES-era Mario games before disappearing for a long time. They reappeared in 2009 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which has since been followed by numerous appearances as both bosses in the Super Mario platformers and playable characters in various spin-offs. These characters have always helped out Bowser and were mostly seen as bosses in the main series. Now on the other side we have the Broodals, a group of villainous anthropomorphic rabbits who double as wedding planners. They are led by Topper, while Madame Broode, a massive, morbidly obese rabbit in a red dress and a hat, is their boss. Just like the Koopalings, they mostly function as bosses, and they all have their own tactics. We have never seen or even heard of them. They came out of nowhere, and they help out Bowser and have become Mario's new enemy in Super Mario Odyssey. However, if we look at both of these groups, which of the two has the better boss fight, story, and overall design? Should the Broodals return, or should we replace them with the more iconic Koopalings in the next game? Well, let's see which one is better. And yes, we're going to look at this from a mostly objective standpoint, and no, we don't have to agree on everything. So, don't get your panties up in a bunch. First, let's look at their designs. The Broodals have a more formal look, and the Koopalings just look like Koopas really. Now the one with the best look has to be the Broodals. This is because there is a lot more detail in their outfit. Besides that, they all look different from each other and have their own style. The Koopalings, however, all look a bit the same. The Broodals outfit is also used a lot in their boss fight, since their hats, hair, and other things are used in the fight against Mario. Thanks to this, their outfit also has a use, which is really cool, because then their outfit doubles as a weapon. Their leader is also extremely cool and recognizable. A lot better than Ludwig in my opinion, although his Beethoven look is also really cool. Now for their concept and story. Here the Koopalings win with a landslide. The Koopalings were based on famous musicians, which is a really cool Easter egg that the Broodals don't have. The connection between the Koopalings and Bowser is also more interesting, since a lot of people thought they were his children. Even their origin and name were based off the big boss himself. Their name, the Koopalings, is used to denote a younger, smaller, or inferior version, which describes their relation to Bowser. So when it comes to their story and concept, they have a more interesting approach. We know nothing about the Broodals after all. We have no idea what they're based off, and they came out of nowhere. So they're a bit bland. However, the Koopalings have been around for ages, so they have a bit of an advantage. Now for the most important aspect, the boss fights. That's what it's all about after all. Their main role is being a final challenge for a big reward. First, we will look at the Koopalings. There are two things they almost always use in battle: a magic wand and their spinning shell attack. These reoccurring tactics are great, but also horrible. Well, one of them is good and the other is really bad. The magic wand has had a lot of problems throughout the series. It's in a lot of fights their main attack, but it's extremely slow, making it quite easy to dodge. Besides that, in a lot of the games, the animations and look of the attacks are the same, so the magic wands are a bit dull and not really interesting or a good attack. The shell spin, however, is a lot better. While all the Koopas perform it the same way, it still functions a lot better. It's a fast attack that covers the entire arena, so no matter where you are, you need to look out. Besides that, you need to dodge it multiple times when they do it, since they go back and forth. Now they also have some tactics and moves that aren't seen in every game or fight, some of which are extremely good. For example, in Super Mario World, almost every Koopaling has a completely different strategy that challenges you in different ways, which is amazing. Like Ludwig, who spins and jumps around while shooting fireballs, or Larry, who you need to push off a tilting platform into lava. However, they have also been very lazy with their boss fights. For example, using the same tactics for multiple bosses, making the fight really easy and in some, there are no special attacks at all. For example, the first Koopaling fight in New Super Mario Bros. Wii was extremely disappointing because of this. The only thing Larry did was jump around, shoot magic wand blasts, and spin in a shell. A bit bland. So overall, the Koopaling fights have as much problems as good points. There are outstanding ones and also really boring ones. Now for the Broodals. We have only seen them as bosses in one game, so we can only take the fights in Odyssey as an example. All of them have their own tactics, but there's one central theme: hats. This is because of the entire capture mechanic, and it's also used as a way to protect yourself from Mario stomps. The Broodal boss fights are extremely good. They all have an interesting gimmick and are certainly different from each other. One that uses explosives, another that uses a buzzsaw hat, and way more. All of this variety makes it a lot less bland and more fun. Another thing that you can do is cancel their attacks if you're skilled enough, so being good at the game is rewarding. The Koopalings also had this, but not as much as the Broodals, since they have this in every fight. Another good thing about the Broodals is that they don't really share any tactics. All of them have completely unique attacks. Now the way you hit them can also change depending on your playstyle, and you can also counter their attacks in multiple ways. Overall, these fights give you a ton of freedom. A lot of the problems can be solved in multiple ways, and there isn't one ultimate weakness or way of doing it. The only downside to their battles is that they don't get any new attacks or powers throughout the game. They get tougher and throw more at you, but they don't do anything really new. However, they do something really cool near the end of the game. Robo-Brood, a giant robot piloted by the 4 rabbits. This is their final form in the game's story, and it's quite epic. It attacks by stomping around and shooting bombs from its cannon, and you need to take it down. It's such a grand showdown. You first fight them one by one, and then at the very end, they all combine into one big, ultimate boss. And then we have their leader. In her fight, you need to use her own weapon against her, which is also a really fun concept. The Koopalings are great characters, but they can't match the Broodals when it comes to their charm and boss fights. I will admit that they came out of nowhere and don't have any background story or cool origin at all, but everything else is just too good. However, they're only seen in one game so far, and the Koopalings are 2D while the Broodals are 3D. So of course there are differences between the two, and we don't really know what it would look like if the two switched. And don't get me wrong, I love the Koopalings, they're great characters and bosses, but they also have their problems. The Broodals are just better when it comes to their overall design, and they're certainly the winner, for me. Thanks for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch more videos, click the annotations on the screen right now or click that cool subscribe button with the bell. And I hope you all have fun hobbies. Go get a fun hobby, play guitar. Try to learn how to play guitar. Just look up videos on YouTube or learn how to do Photoshop. Do things, it's fun.